Welcome to Boys Under the Hood. Pat Kelly joined by James Stephenson. We appreciate you checking out our podcast. How you doing today, brother?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. We're here to talk about business. I need to thank Lotus Business Solutions for sponsoring our podcast. If you're having struggles with your business in any respect, whether it's staffing, whether it's bottom line, whether it's expenses, Lotus Business Solutions can help out there. And it's something that they've helped Precision Auto, who James owns here, by the way, in West Springfield, Massachusetts, keep your business together and add some valuable insight into what you're doing.
Yeah, we love helping auto repair shops. You know, it's really what we know, and we're pretty good at it.
Before we get into this, I need your help on something.
Sure.
I've got a couple of cats, and one of the friggin' things keeps eating the laces
Cats?
out of my shoes. Yeah.
What the hell do I know about cats?
We have two cats, and it's gotten to the point where, no, it's making me crazy at this point. Because, so if you leave your shoes on the ground, you wake up in the morning and the laces are like, they're all eaten. So the shoes are now unwearable. I've got like 7 pairs of shoes now that I cannot wear. So now, before you go to bed, it's like panic time. You got to put the shoes up somewhere to stop the cats from eating the frickin' laces. How do I help, James? How can you help me do this?
Just go get rid of the cats.
Can we contact Lotus Business Solutions? I
don't know. Put them in a closet or something. Not the cat, but put the shoes in the closet.
Well, it's just one of those things. It makes you crazy because like I'm in bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh shit, did I put my shoes up?
These are your struggles this morning?
These are
about your cat?
These are the big
How
struggles.
many cats do you have?
We have 2.
You used to have Soda Pop, right?
Yeah,
Big dog?
Still have Soda Pop, our border collie, who's getting long in the tooth. But the 2 cats, we got 2. We were going to give one away, but they're sisters. So I said to Kim, I'm like, we have to keep them together. So now we've got 2 cats in the house.
Yeah.
And so that's my huge struggle. These are the struggles that we go through here. So Lotus Business Solutions can't help.
We can't do anything.
No, okay. So no cat questions. But we would appreciate any questions and any comments that you leave for the podcast. We'd be happy to address them. What's new in your life?
I know nothing about cats.
What's new in your life, man? How's Precision Auto going these days?
Precision Auto's doing well. We're kind of in the not kind of, but we're well into the process of an expansion, and then like other shops, we try to kind of grow market share a little bit. And so whether you do that internally or externally. Precision's kind of going through that right now, and so I'm excited to see what that ends up looking like.
So, what are some of the struggles there? Are you having when techs come and apply for the job? What kind of people are you seeing come through the door?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's not difficult to get a big volume of applicants, and then from there, we're not really trying to hire experience. We always try to hire. We always try to hire based on attitude, aptitude, and ethics, and then from there we train people. I actually prefer to train technicians, train people to be technicians if they have some experience, right? Like they have to show us that they have some skin in the game. 1 year to 3 years or 3 years to 5 years is really a good sweet spot. And then from there we'll teach them how to do the job. I find that it's actually easier for us to do that and we get a better result than if we hire a guy that's been working on cars for 20 years. He's set in his ways. He doesn't care to see it a different way. And maybe where he was working before, it was okay. And, with us, we just do things a little bit differently. So we prefer to build our talent.
So how often does that happen to you where someone comes in and they've learned a system or they think they've learned a system that's effective and clearly it's ineffective?
Yeah.
Is it hard to break that? Is it like breaking a horse?
Yeah. I mean, so how old is Soda Pop now?
16.
Yeah. And so if Soda Pop always went to the bathroom in the house and you got the dog at 15 years old, how hard would it be to teach Soda Pop to finally go outside and start using the bathroom?
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, and so people are kind of the same thing. The guy's been doing it his way forever. And where he worked last, they didn't care that he didn't use a floor mat in the vehicle and that he didn't put the oil change sticker on nice and straight or that he didn't wash the engine down. Like, with us, all of those little things matter because our customers expect that.
Well, I'm interested to see how the expansion goes over the next several weeks.
Thanks,
I know you're excited about it.
Yeah.
I am also because we've kind of become friends through this whole process. We started out as strictly a business relationship, right?
Yeah.
You advertised with the radio stations. We'd sit down, write the scripts, and we honed them in, got them where they needed to be. But then over time, we're like, wait a minute, I'm a lot like this guy. And now we actually spend time outside the shop, so it's a personal thing for me too. Just so you know,
good, man. Thanks,
I hope you know that's true at this point.
Yeah.
You want to jump right into a question?
Let's go, dude.
This first question comes from Gene, who's a shop owner in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, a great area of the woods, by the way, out there in the Berkshires. Gene writes, I run a second generation auto shop, and we've been a premier shop for almost 30 years. after COVID, I found that we can't get the same level of guys as we were before 2019. These guys only want to do what they want to do. I can't seem to find techs that can handle all jobs thrown at them, and I'm paying top dollar for them to just leave me after a few weeks. Why would someone leave after just a few weeks?
Well, they're not getting something that they were promised, or they're not getting structure. Like, there's something missing there. People don't. Everybody like overcomplicates this hiring process, right? And so it's a relationship. You need them to like you. You've obviously got to like them, but you have to give them the things that they're looking for. Otherwise, they're not going to last, And so these people, I don't know how many times I sit down and I talk to people and they say, well, technicians aren't worth a shit. I can't find anybody anymore. Well, first of all, the first thing that needs to change is your mindset and your attitude, because if you continue looking at it negatively, all you're going to find is the negative,
Right.
So in this situation, I'm sorry, his name was Gene?
Yes, Gene.
All right. So for the first thing that I would tell you, Gene, is great area. Pittsfield's awesome. Pittsfield is you have some very affluent pockets up there too. And so you probably you have the ability to pull in some really, really good customers. And so the first thing you want to do is make sure that you can afford what you need to pay to bring in the proper talent. And so that starts with a labor rate analysis, and to dig even deeper, you want to make sure that you're doing all of the things that your customers want to create the proper experience. So you're surveying your customers, you're surveying your staff. What do people like? What don't they like? What are they asking for more of? Do they want computerized records? Do they want digital vehicle inspections? Are we recommending things? And people don't trust us. Should we be sending them pictures of it, and so on? And so you want to make sure that you have all of these amenities that people need: shuttles, the warranty, financing, whatever it is. And then from there, you've got your bulk. Like, all right, so this is going to be roughly my operating cost. And now you begin to determine, okay, well, how much are good technicians? And so the days of finding a good technician for $15, $18, those are long gone. And so sometimes you talk to shop owners and they say, well, I can't find anybody good. Well, you're looking under $20. Well, I can't charge more. Well, why can't you charge more? Why can't you charge more? Well, the customers aren't going to pay it. The customer has to pay it because the technician that you want to hire to do the job is coming in with all of this experience, or maybe you're training him and he's got all of these tools and he's got a family and he's trying to buy a house and he has all these things. And so sometimes as shop owners, we can forget about all of the things that they want. And so one of the first things we do when we hire people is we want to know what your personal and professional 1 and 5 year goals are. And then we try to do whatever we can to make sure that you achieve them. And then that helps me understand a little bit about your process and a little bit about your mindset, because now I'm more focused on, okay, well, I know that Pat wants to buy a house in 5 years. I know that Pat wants to buy a house in 5 years. And so how can we help him do that, right? We can create a pay plan that's going to allow him to do a lot of these things. Maybe I can go into my network and help him with a mortgage broker or a realtor that he might need, or something. Like, how do we help these people? And so sometimes you're missing that stuff. The other thing that ends up happening is there is no one size fits all technician. I really don't like that mentality. So it's an older mentality where shop owners will say that everybody should do everything, right? Every guy should be good at doing brakes. Every guy should be good at doing suspension. Every guy should be able to change an engine. Every guy should be able to diagnose. Every guy should be able to do electrical testing.
All right, so let me stop you there for a second. At Precision Auto in West Springfield, your techs, you have guys that are better at things than other guys, yeah? Like if there's a brake job comes in, you know the guy to send that to.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it's something with suspension, there's a guy who does that.
Yeah, I mean, we have guys that are good at a bunch of different things, and we have guys that are, not great at some things.
Right.
And so you want to just let the racehorse run. Think of it in terms of having being a coach of a baseball team or a football team, right? If you coach a football team, not every guy is meant to play guard.
That's true.
Right?
They're just not built for that.
You're going to try to make him go play wide receiver, free safety. He's going to get destroyed. They can't run that fast.
At 6'6", 335.
How's he going to get there? You know what I mean? If he gets a hold of you, you got a problem. But it's just not the best use of his natural talent, his natural ability. And some guys are natural quarterbacks, and some guys are natural running backs, and whatever it would be, tight ends or whatever, any of these positions. And so it's up to you as a shop owner to be that coach and figure out where your players are best served on the field, and then go fucking find somebody else to do oil changes, or find somebody else to do alignments, or find somebody else to do engines or diagnosis or whatever. Let these guys do the things that they're really good at. I mean, try to get them to come out of their comfort zone a little bit, because sometimes they're just scared of something, you know?
Well, it's got to be a learning process all the time, right?
Yeah.
You can't just be unwilling to learn part of the business. You've got to have your eyes open all the time, yeah?
All the time. Yeah, and so there's multiple facets to that, you know, and so when people contact me, the main reason that they contact me is because they're not making any money. You know, that's the first thing. They're stressed out. They want to close their shop or something. Don't close your shop. Call us. Like, don't close your shop. Don't close your shop.
Do not close your shop.
Yeah, call us or sell it to us. We'll find a solution. Don't close your shop, you know. But when these people contact us, they're not making money. And usually it all stems around the people. And then what we always find, each and every single time, is that there's an absence of systems in their business. Nobody has clearly defined goals. There are no targets for anybody, and everybody's just kind of coming in, wandering around. There's no clear-cut leader. The guy who owns the shop is scared of the technicians because he doesn't want to say a word to them because he's scared they're going to leave. But their problem is not the structure. They want the structure and they love the direction, and you know you got to give them some leeway in there too. But like, you get these shop owners and they're like, you have to do it exactly this way right now or else.
Right.
That shit doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't work anymore.
So you're talking about people who basically just open the shop who really have no strategy even for that day or even that week or that month or that quarter.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, that was me 20 years ago.
Right. So
no direction.
When you first just put the open sign up and you're just hoping people come in.
I had a set of tools. I was good at working on cars, and I was like, let the fucking money roll in, dude.
How'd that go for you?
It went terrible. It was the worst. It was the worst. I worked constantly. I made no money. I had nothing but headache.
How much sleep were you getting, by the way?
Oh my God, none.
Really?
None. I remember sitting up at night, like looking for jobs. I'm like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep doing this, you know. And then, and then I got an education. You know, I got a proper education, and it's still I'm not perfect. I still have struggles here and there, but for the most part.
So this guy, Gene there's a couple of different aspects to what he's talking about, right? So he talks about his business now versus before COVID.
Yeah.
We've talked about the employees and how to retain them. What have you noticed with Precision? Because COVID whacked everybody. Obviously, people need to get their vehicles fixed no matter what. So in COVID, did it slow down for you? Did it die for you? How did that go? Because I know a lot of people weren't driving their vehicles either, which doesn't help your industry.
We've maintained a steady growth pattern prior to and then even after COVID. But it would be totally wrong to say that like the entire world is different now, right? It would be wrong to say it's anything other than that. And so the things that people are looking for are different, and how we have to treat people is different. But there was this trending issue of not being able to find technicians for years. I think we talked about it back in like 2017. There was like, don't quote me the year, but 2017, 2018, somewhere in there, one of these shows we did when we were still at the radio station, I had read a study, and I quoted it, and it was basically like there was a 70,000 skilled tradesman shortage, and that was like just in Pittsburgh, at the time.
Wow.
And so now, years later, you can only imagine how bad that must have gotten, but like that just puts more emphasis on like coach your people, bring out the best in them, and constantly set very clear goals and guidelines for them. Don't give them rules. Don't say you have to put one foot in front of the other and you have to do exactly this or else.
Right.
Nobody likes or else. Right? Nobody likes or else, right? Hey, you got to go from here to there, right? And this is how we normally get from here to there. If you have a better way, share it with us. Because sometimes we learn a lot from our people. And the other thing that I find that people regularly, try to push back on is recruiting. And so let me ask you this. Do you recruit for customers, right? Because that's what we're doing when we're trying to get customers. When we advertise, we are recruiting for customers.
Yes.
Do you just advertise one time when you need a customer and then you stop advertising?
No.
That would be insane. It would be ridiculous.
And it's always about the benefit of it. Like
Yeah.
anytime we advertise, it's always about the benefit of it.
Yeah.
We don't spend any of our time talking about other people. It's the benefit of doing business with precision every single time.
Yeah, but it's scripted that way, right? People's attention spans are short. You were the one that really taught me the importance of that, right? People, they don't want to listen to you for that. That's why this podcast is only so long. We give you bite-sized bits of information, and
Right.
then we're on to the next. We don't. What the hell did you say to me? You said don't overestimate somebody's attention span or something. I probably just totally destroyed that, right? Like,
it's something along
something
those
like
lines,
that. And then you had something written on the wall in the studio, and so that's always resonated with me. And so when we're looking for customers, if we're looking for customers all the time, and we know that the best solution to find customers, marketing, is consistency over time, right? They may not need us today, and they may not need us tomorrow, but the next day they do, right?
Yeah.
So why do we only look for technicians when we want them? Imagine if you tried to only find a customer only when you wanted them. You'd have to get somebody on a call to action. Hey, come in, this thing is free, or come in, this thing is discounted, and then you're going to be upset that you're not getting the right customers. And so why would you only look for technicians and staff and people to make your team better when you need them?
Can you imagine that if, like, we're on the brink of bankruptcy and we're like, oh shit, we got to get some advertisers,
Yeah.
or we're going out of business tomorrow. It's a constant cycle.
Yeah.
For us, and some you drop some along the way. You hope that the retention is high, which it generally is.
Yeah.
But that's the process. You've got to keep the ball rolling like that.
Right.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, so and that's a great one, right? And so we are people collectors. I've said this before, right? We're collecting vendors, we're collecting customers, and we're collecting people around us, right? A baseball team, a football team, any of these teams, they have entire departments. They have teams of people that are going out looking for new talent to add to their team to grow. And then when you talk to business owners, you're like, you should always be hiring. Well, no, I can't do that. People are going to think something's wrong, or no, who gives a shit what they, you know what I mean? Like, they're not working there. These people are so concerned with like what somebody else that they've never met because they read something on a forum. Nah, man, just hire all the time. You should, create low-key ads. You don't have to be in everybody's face with blinking red flashing lights all the time. Just, hey, look, we're always looking to grow our team. We're always like, and if you're not, you're going to get left out in the cold, because the people that know how to recruit, hire, train, and retain are going to be the only shops left standing. Because when you look online and you go in these groups, these acquisition groups and all these different groups, all these people are like, don't buy auto repair shops, don't buy HVAC shops or businesses, don't buy electrical companies, don't get involved with trades in general, stay away from plumbing. Do you think that people are going to stop washing their hands and showering indoors anytime soon?
Oh yeah, no. So once I realize that they're not hiring people, I'm going to stop using my toilet.
It's like buying stocks, right? Back in 2020, everybody's like, stay away from the stock market, right? Everything plummeted. Stay away from it.
Right.
Stay away from it, right? And the people that took risk and they had some money and they invested into, just secure things that happened to be down at the time, right? Companies that had good value. They made millions of dollars, these people, some of them. I know a kid that worked for Mass Mutual, normal earner, good dude. He went all in. I wouldn't recommend to do that, but he went all in. He liquidated all of his retirement, everything. He put it all into this one thing, and the kid is like set now. He's set. Really, really good. But that's somebody that they took a lot of risk, right? And so when they say, well, don't buy businesses, well, plumbing companies are going to always be around. People are always going to want to drive their cars. You always need indoor electric. Like, just because you're saying don't do this, it doesn't mean that the problem is going to go away. If anything, you're going to be more in demand than ever, and so you need to find an outside-the-box solution. Otherwise, you're going to get left in the cold.
So, Gene, what I would say to you is, if you're finding that you're not getting as many customers as you used to, I mean, we're out of COVID now. The world is as normal as it was. If you're having an issue finding a message to give to your potential customers, contact us. LotusPE.us will help you with a concise message, crystal clear. We've talked about spear fishing versus throwing that big net out. We'll spearfish for you, get the message out, consistent, and bring some business into you. LotusPE.us.
Yeah, it's
really simple.
Yeah. It's hiring isn't just as simple as like putting out an ad and hoping these people are going to come in. it's all about, like, do you have a plan to create a consistently high quality result for your customer in the business, right? Do you have systems in place that are going to create a really nice, positive, structured work environment for your staff that they can grow in? Do they have clearly defined, written out goals? Are you doing what you need to do to help them hit those goals? Like, all of these different things that when you talk to these business owners that are like, I can't find anybody, everybody sucks, you know, they've got this woe is me negative attitude. Once they start to change that and you start to ask them these questions, you're like, well, no, I didn't do this, and no, I didn't do that. And a lot of them want to change, and some of them are like, no, I've been doing it this way forever still. They, you know, it's just, they shut the door on you.
Right.
You know?
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Boys Under the Hood. James Stephenson, Pat Kelly. We will be back. A special thanks to Lotus Business Solutions, also Precision Auto Repair for 9 years running now, voted by their customers the best shop in West Springfield, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Lotus Media, if you're looking for someone to help you put together a message that works for you, we can do that for you. And lastly, Lotus Financial. If you're one of those guys who at the end of the day, you're the one going home and having to do the books and the payroll, the expenses and all that bullshit, we'll handle that. Well, I say we. I'm not part of the financial. Lotus Financial can help you out there as well.
That's not his fingers and
No,
toes.
not at all. But we look forward to seeing you next time. Please drop a comment or a question. We'd be happy to answer it in a future broadcast or podcast, that is.
Good to see you, Patrick.
Good to see you too, man.